Welcome to BRR Media. Today I welcome Andrew Catchpole, the Chief Scientific Officer of hVIVO. Andrew, it's great to have you with us.
Good to be here, thanks.
Now, Andrew, hVIVO has signed a new contract worth £7.3 million for an influenza challenge study. Many congratulations on this, and please tell us more about hVIVO and how they'll be testing the client's antiviral product.
Yes, thank you. So we're very excited to be signing this new contract. It's actually quite a large study, so they have a number of different testing arms. So for an influenza product like this one, they're able to test two different ways that the product can actually help against influenza. Firstly, we're going to test for them what happens if you administer their antiviral before exposure to the virus, i.e. can you prevent someone becoming infected? And then similarly, once you've been infected with the virus, can you use this product to treat them back to health quicker? So we're testing both of those different facets of the antiviral with these studies for them.
And hVIVO has a vast history in challenge models. Can you tell us how long the influenza challenge model has been around and what successes have been achieved?
Yes, the influenza challenge model actually has been evolving over many decades. So our history at hVIVO can be tracked back right to the Common Cold Institute. So some of our founders of our company also worked at the Common Cold Institute, which is a big institute that ran from the 1940s right up to the 1990s in the UK. And they tested human viral challenge studies and did them on a number of different respiratory pathogens, including influenza. So there's a long history of doing this in the UK, and we've then at hVIVO then essentially commercialized that to be able to do those studies in a very commercial, GCP compliant way, in a very fast and efficient way, just as our clients need us to.
And with the COVID-19 pandemic simmering down now, how will influenza influence global health?
Yeah, that's an excellent question, because I think we often forget just how much of an important pathogen influenza is really. So we all know that influenza is very much a pandemic potential. So it's caused pandemics in the past, and it most definitely will cause pandemics again. So we know that there's a huge reservoir of different types of influenza viruses in natural birds, which we can't help but come into contact with. So hence it's always considered to be a bit of a ticking time bomb. How quickly will a variant of a bird flu virus potentially get into humans and be able to cause infection? So most often what happens is humans will become exposed to those viruses and they will just die out and not cause an infection. But once every few 100,000 or 1,000,000 times, who knows what exactly what the ratio is, once they're very infrequently, what happens is able to cause infection, and that's when we have a pandemic. And I think we're reminded of the pandemic potential influenza recently because there's a lot of bird flu outbreak where flu has got into poultry markets right now in the UK and other countries. So that's just a reminder of just how important influenza is as a pandemic potential. And whilst there's been very little flu, whilst the COVID pandemic's been going on, because I think we've all been protecting ourselves from respiratory viruses, now we're starting to get back and lead our lives normally. We'll see influenza pick straight back up again. And I predict maybe not next winter, but maybe the winter after, that the beds in the hospitals again will be predominantly understrained because of flu, which is a natural, normal situation every year.
Fill us in on the actual importance of this hVIVO influenza challenge model and why should it be used to further scientific research on the virus?
So we're very fortunate to have influenza vaccines available, but the influenza vaccines that are available currently have to be updated every single time the virus changes, and it's constantly changing. So that normally means we need an influenza virus vaccine every single year. And what happens is, so samples are collected maybe early in the year, and then scientists look at those flu viruses that are circulating, and they predict or try to predict what type of virus is going to be circulating in 6-7 months' time for when the vaccines are going to be rolled out. And of course, as you may imagine, sometimes that's very successful and sometimes it's not so successful. So sometimes it means the vaccines aren't able to protect us as much as we really like. So what we really need for an influenza vaccine is a so-called multivariant vaccine or a broad spectrum vaccine, which is able to protect against influenza, even if it does change. So, and protect us against, therefore, a pandemic vaccine. So there's a lot of work going on at the moment in the research community to produce these broad spectrum vaccines, and using challenge models is a very efficient way of testing them, because you need to be able to be sure about what virus you're testing it against, and you have no control of that. in the natural phenomenon in field trials. So challenge studies are a really important tool for testing and getting broad spectrum vaccines to the market, as well as improving the antivirals available.
Well, Andrew, thank you very much for speaking to us today. Great to chat to you as always.
Thank you.